complain about too many homeless, and the shop owners saying, hey, they hurt my business when they stand outside, they're urinating, on the sidewalk.
Well, now that is not a consequence of being homeless, that you're a public defecator.
Yeah. Well,
anybody that has a job can pee on the street.
Oh, absolutely. But most people don't.
Or has a home.
Most people don't, Tim.
I understand
so
that. That's why I'm saying you have to define what's the problem.
Well, I'm defining it. I'm defining it in an aspect. You have complaints from the people who live downtown. You have complaints from the business owners. You also have complaints from visitors coming into the city. You got too many panhandlers. You got too many bums, if you want to use that terminology, or homeless that filters in, and they just migrate in a certain area, whereas a very highly populated area where a lot of transactions financially, a lot of businesses take place, as well as arts and crafts and everything. So you've got a problem with this group of people that it's just spreading, and people don't want to come downtown because it's just too much.
Now, are you speaking of Bum Park?
Well, if we want to use Bum Park, for example, but I'm just saying.
How many millions of dollars did the city spend building Bum Park?
That's right. We need to get some beds down there. But I'm just curious, what would be? Is there any solution to for the homeless? How could you help the homeless? I'm just curious. I think that would be a good question.
Well, there are lots of solutions, but again, I have to go back to what's your definition of homeless. You told me that there are some people who are exhibiting antisocial behavior.
Mm-hmm.
That is not necessarily a consequence of being homeless.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, so I think that the first thing you have to do is you have to separate out all of these elements, all these aspects.
Well,
if there are people who are homeless because they run out of luck, or they're just irresponsible, or
combination of
they
things.
got a divorce, or whatever, run into some bad times, there are ways for charities to help those people. There are charities, there are services in place that will help those people.
But as
long as you lump all these people together under this
homeless issue
terminology called homeless, then you don't have a set of solutions that will work for this.
Do we have a homeless issue at Asheville? Let me just ask you that.
I hear. I don't experience the homeless problem myself. I don't spend a lot of time downtown.
Well, we just
where
brought
these
it up on
homeless
down the
people
show,
are.
and I was just curious.
But I understand that there are some people who have problems with antisocial behavior. I don't have a problem with somebody who does not have a home.
Okay, absolutely. You don't have to have a home to live.
So, and also, I have a problem with.
Helps.
But you need shelter of some sort.
Absolutely.
Responsibility. It comes down to a personal responsibility issue. If you decide to live on the street, then you should not force other people to endure any of the behaviors that just are not.
I agree.
Normal,
so if it's behavior-based solution,
then we put them in jail.
I don't see what the problem is.
Okay.
Antisocial behavior will not be tolerated in downtown.
What do we
whether
do
you have a home
or
whether you have a mansion.
And what do we do with that behavior, though? What do we do? We can't lock them up.
No, what you do is you turn them into into entertainment for the tourists. So what you do, you put in some more benches down at Bum Park. You surround Bum Park with benches, okay, and you wire those benches up. You run wires in those benches, and you run them to little foot pedals like my little button right here, like this, and you put these little things where tourists can put $1 in them and step on the button and shock a bum and watch a bum jump.
Shock a bum.
See, you get it called shock a bum. For $1, you can shock a bum, watch the bum jump, and we can have other things. Watch the bums dance. Yeah.
Well, they generated some money.
Exactly. Become productive citizens there.
Enough for some booze farm, if they need that,
Whatever it takes, that's what I say. It's either that or the concentration camps. But unfortunately, and I'm really upset about the fact that instead of using some creative thought and a good plan like the one I just came up with, the plans are being made for the concentration camps.
That was a good plan within a 30-second time span.
Well, actually, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this problem.
Just in case you were in that situation.
No, but there is a
We've
problem.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We've even worked it out for the internet. See, we're going to put cameras. We've got cameras now, and we can train them on the benches in Bum Park. You see, and if we're going to wire those benches, and people at home can
PayPal.
can PayPal in, and then every time they hit their space bar, they can shock the button, and they can watch them jump right on their computer. You know.
Oh, okay. That's heavy.
I'm telling you, there's money to be made at this if it's worked right. Okay.
Have a little mind for business.
Entertainment too. Oh man.
Okay, and if there's someone who disagrees with this, come on and tell me about it, and you can have your own show.
Okay. Well, they're getting a phone call right now.
I know. It's probably the FCC or the Gestapo or something. You know, I've had 1, 2 codes. Okay.
Speaking of Gestapo, I mean, this is another problem that we have with developing solutions for homelessness, so-called homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
People have a right to go to travel and move around town however they see fit.
You think they do?
Absolutely, as long as it's not on somebody else's private property. Private property owners have yes.
I received a phone call from a viewer, and they are curious.
If they could do that?
Not necessarily overly concerned with the outrageousness of your idea, but what they really want to know is what's that going to do to our energy demands in the region? And
There'd be a spike. We need a peak power plant.
Electricity.
Oh.
That's a call from a viewer. I'm just relating that information to the panel. How would you solve the energy?
Well, that's a good question for the mad scientist, and I hope you heard the question was how would we pay for the energy demands on that, and that just happens to be the perfect question for the mad scientist because the energy demand for that is very, very low. It's a high voltage that shocks and a low current, and being that it is such a low current, it's that power is voltage times current, and although the voltage will be a high number, the current number will be so low that when the two are multiplied together, the actual power necessary to shock a bum is very, very minor, and it costs way less than the dollar spent on the whole thing. It's a win-win situation as far as I see it. It's actually a very, very small fraction of a cent worth of energy to shock a bum. So you're looking at 1,000% return.
You're saying you could come up with a cost-effective method for electrocuting a hobo.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
Shock a bum.
Yeah, right. The hobo actually puts out more energy in the jumping than is necessary to make the hobo jump.
I was just thinking, some of the so-called hobos or bums, they may be some real good ones down there. So, I mean,
there's some good ones down there.
maybe some real
There are some good ones down there.